Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be the start of my Godzilla review marathon, where I'm going to be taking a look at every Godzilla film from 1954 to 2019. Now, I'm going to be breaking this down into the different period or eras, so that's going to be Showa, Heisei, Millennium, and also the Reiwa era. So that'll be all done individually. We're going to be starting, obviously, with the Showa era. With the Showa era, we're going to be talking about the shift from a prominent nuclear message to more of a campy, friendly Godzilla that we get later on in the Showa era. And we're going to really talk about how we went from this to this and then to this. How did we get here? Well, first up is Godzilla 1954. Godzilla starts out at sea, where we watch a fishing boat get set ablaze and sink. While we don't see the creature, you certainly feel its presence. The ship is only one of countless casualties to come. We are then introduced to our love interest and main human protagonists in the film, Ogata and Emiko. They have a great dynamic and chemistry on screen. I really enjoyed watching these characters throughout the film. The mystery deepens as fishing boats return to Odo Island with nothing in their nets. One of the older villagers hypothesizes that it was no other than Godzilla. That night, however, would take a turn for the worse as a storm hit the island, so did Godzilla. The Japanese government decides to tap Professor Yamane to lead a team to find this Godzilla. Once on the island, Yamane and his team inevitably find Godzilla and return to Japan with a report. The government then deliberates on how to handle Godzilla. Do they tell the public? Do they keep it a secret? Unfortunately, before a final decision can be made, Godzilla rises out of Tokyo Bay, showing Godzilla was close to the mainland now, and also ruining any chance of keeping his presence under wraps. Emiko visits Dr. Serizawa, who is another great character when he is on screen. He shows Emiko something he has been working on, the oxygen destroyer. He begs Emiko not to tell a soul of his invention for fear it will come into the wrong hands. That night, Godzilla attacks but retreats after leaving a path of destruction. Godzilla back in Tokyo Bay, the military begins to prepare for another attack. They devise a plan to use power lines to shock Godzilla. Godzilla arrives in Tokyo once more with the power lines ineffective and the military not even laying a scratch on him. Godzilla goes on a fairly long rampage, destroying Tokyo district by district. Here we see the special effects really shine, and that's mostly in part to Eiji Tsuburaya, who was a master of special effects. As all hope seems lost, Godzilla is eventually lured back to sea by fighter jets using light bombs. Godzilla goes back into Tokyo Bay, but Tokyo is destroyed. The imagery to show the destruction brings back memories of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Distraught by what she had seen and determined to put an end to this, Emiko tells Ogata about Serizawa's device and they go to convince him to use it. They are at first unsuccessful as he makes a parallel to the atom bomb, saying once it is used, other countries will want one. A news broadcast changes the doctor's mind, but he destroys his work, saying this will be the first and last time the oxygen destroyer will be used. After tracking Godzilla in Tokyo Bay using Geiger counters, the Japanese military finds Godzilla. Ogata goes with Serizawa to use the oxygen destroyer, but is tricked into going back up so he can be with Emiko. There Serizawa is, his creation, and Godzilla stand. He detonates it, turning Tokyo Bay into a graveyard and taking Godzilla with him. As Godzilla dies, our cast watches in horror. Watching him deteriorate on screen is a bittersweet moment. Dr. Yamane, however, says that another Godzilla will return if atomic bombs were continued to be used. What can I say about this movie? It has a great story. The special effects, while not all hold up today, are fantastic for the time. The characters are interesting, and the real star of the show is Godzilla. His final rampage is glorious. The use of the sets, puppets, and suitmation paved the way for so many other movies. This movie also does a great job of delivering a warning about atomic weapons, but is able to keep that fun kaiju film feel. While this film is dark, I would recommend it to anyone, especially first-time Godzilla fans. I would say this movie still holds up today, as well as the message. The fear of nuclear weapons have, if anything, become more prominent in the last few years. I give this movie 5 stars. Only 6 months later, in 1955, a sequel was made. Godzilla Raids Again. where Godzilla would face off against his first foe, Anguirus. Alright guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.